Dear friends of Villa Vigoni, here we're once again with a short video talk. Today we are very glad to have with us Stefano Dominioni, Executive Secretary of the Council of Europe Enlarged Partial Agreement on Cultural Routes and Director of the European Institute of Cultural Routes. He's responsible for overseeing the certification and evaluation process of the cultural route projects in the field of European art, history, heritage and landscape across the 47 member states of the Council of Europe. Mr. Dominioni, first of all, thank you very much for being with us today. You have been at Villa Vigoni for the first time in 2018 as a participant of the first edition of our Vigoni for Europe seminar about cultural politics. Looking at the current situation of a dramatic worldwide crisis, which is going to have a vast impact not only on the economy but on our societies as well, what is the role of cultural policy in this emergency? What should and could be a response, a concrete input of culture and cultural institutions?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on video message. It's a pleasure to be with friends at Villa Vigoni. I remember dearly my stay on the Como Lake on the occasion of your very interesting conference. The impact of the pandemic on the cultural sector is being felt in Europe widely, but also around the world. As you know, cultural events have been cancelled, cultural institutions are closed, heritage sites are empty, community cultural practices have been suspended. Also, artists are unable to perform, and the cultural tourism activities are really paralyzed. So it's a very, very difficult situation. However, more than ever, today we feel the importance of culture and creativity for society. This is very clear. Cultural content really contributes to our everyday life, our health and well-being, also our, let's say, intellectual and spiritual well-being. Millions of people are turning to culture as a source of comfort, well-being, and also connection while they are confined at home. So the role of cultural policy is important to provide mitigating measures for also social, economic, and political impacts of the pandemic. First of all, by ensuring, in our view, the fundamental right to access of culture, the social rights of artists and creative professionals, and protection of cultural expression. So all this has to be guaranteed, it has to be continued. And there are a lot of institutions that are providing a lot of online material for our, let's say, cultural experience to continue even during this pandemic. So the current challenges are not only to provide public supports to alleviate negative impacts in the short term, but also to identify new opportunities for culture in the medium term. I have highlighted a number of possible responses. One is from governments. First of all, they have to assess, and they are doing so, the scale of the impact of the COVID pandemic on the cultural sector to identify some of the most urgent needs. And some governments have already done so, developing budgetary measures and instruments to mitigate the economic impact on the cultural sector. For example, through grants, through subsidies, through deductions on social security contributions, emergency financial aids and credits, and so forth. The second aspect is to foster access to culture in confinement. And as I mentioned, promoting culture as a means of raising awareness through digital content, digital training to support culture, and also to develop digital platforms. And also producing innovative solutions during this pandemic through the digitalization of cultural content. A lot of museums have put a lot of information online, also theaters and opera houses are providing a lot of musical content also online for us to enjoy during this period. So a number of things can be done. Governments are doing so, but also private institutions are doing so. And I think it's important to continue along this line.
What can we learn on European level from the Cultural Routes project, its structure and its modus operandi?
Thank you for the question, because this is really up on the alley of our work. As you know, the Council of Europe launched the Cultural Roots program already 30 years ago. And the key word for us is really transnational cooperation. It's a program that creates networks of destinations based on their heritage, on thematic values, history, and traditions of shared European culture across the member states, European member states of the Council of Europe, and the values that this program promotes. Today we have over almost 40 cultural routes that have been certified, from Santiago de Compostela to the European route of industrial heritage, of the European route of thermal towns, of the Cistercian abbeys, Transromanica, the route of the olive tree, just to mention a few. The values that this program promotes are really shared European heritage and cooperation across borders. And in this particular time of where Europe is facing difficulties politically, institutionally, but also from the point of view of public health, it is important to remind us how we are all connected, how we are all interconnected. First of all, economically, but if we go back in history, we have a shared history in the arts, in culture, in literature. Religious heritage is also very important as a shared heritage, but also arts and architecture and landscape. So all this is brought together by the cultural roots of the Council of Europe, providing networks of destinations that are open for the travelers to enjoy. And one key aspect is really transnational cooperation. The other one is local development, sustainable local development, because all these itineraries, some are linear paths, some are reticular routes based on several destinations that are linked through space. Some are territorial routes based on a specific geography of our continent. All of these are based on our local culture as well. And in this time and age of pandemic, we are going to be witnessing a number of changes the way travelers will approach experiencing our heritage and our culture and traveling in Europe. So it would be very much relevant to reappropriate ourselves of our local and regional heritage, national heritage, because of the situation. And cultural roots provide a different way of understanding access to culture, because it's really about exploring less known destinations, smaller regions, rural areas, in contact with the civil society, in contact with the local communities, also for the benefit of the local economies. So all this will become, we think, more relevant as we, let's say, transition into a more normal life and situation after the crisis is over. And so we think that the program will be, let's say, an important way of regaining, let's say, our confidence in traveling again, in experiencing our heritage again, because it's very much, let's say, more linked to a more sustainable way of enjoying our culture and our heritage, based on less known, let's say, less known destinations where art and culture and our heritage is very much present, but not, let's say, the main destinations, the main capital cities. So we think that it's a good way also to regain confidence in accessing culture and experiencing tourism, cultural tourism in Europe, providing alternative ways to travel again after the pandemic is over.
And just one last question. Do you have a short message for our German-Italian community?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, I would like to underline the important role that Villa Vigoni plays in Italian and German relationships, because we need institutions such as Villa Vigoni to maintain and to foster the cooperation among the governments, the German and Italian government, but also involving all the activities that we're doing in the cultural and heritage field. So Villa Vigoni plays a very important role. As far as relations between our two wonderful countries, I should really like to underline how it is extremely important, especially in this particular time of let's say, deep discussion at the European level of the future of our institutions, of the importance of maintaining communication open, dialogue, debate, but also cooperation. We've seen recently the decisions, very important decisions at EU level to provide support to the difficult situation that many countries are witnessing. In particular, my home country is now really having to tackle the pandemic in a very, very deep way. But this is also something that all European countries are witnessing. And the role of our governments is very important to show that we are together in providing solutions. So I think for me the important message is that we have a strong role to play at the European level, in European institutions, the governments, Italian government and German government, and Villa Vigoni as an organization that works in the cultural field, and we really need to continue to maintain the values of European integration and our values of cooperation and economic integration as alive as possible, because this is really the future of our European project. As far as the Council of Europe is concerned, of course, Germany and Italy play a very important role. They are very important countries. Both are big contributors to the budget and to the work of the organization. Germany will hold the presidency of the Committee of Ministers of the Council of Europe from May to November this year. So we are looking forward to working with the German authorities to foster, values of our organization, human rights, democracy, and the rule of law, but also intercultural cooperation and cultural dialogue. So my message is very positive. I think that Germany and Italy will continue to have a very important role in European integration, and they are aligned in terms of values and objectives as far as deepening the European integration project. And so I'm very confident that our countries mutually will continue to promote the ideals that we share at the European level.
Thank you very much for this statement, and see you soon, only come or may.
Thank you very much, Mr. Solon.